Hello, 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 and hi, y'all. Welcome to the CUP Ringside, part of the CUP Network, where we give you the best seat in the house on most things wrestling, all things WWE, for sure. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because I love me some tea. Purr. I am not drinking anything. Did not feel like grabbing anything to drink. Actually, just drank, had dinner, so I'm not thirsty. But what I do have always, even when I'm not in my same location, is my cup mug. Ooh, panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer, 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 beer. I don't have the lights in here, so that's fine.
We had a panel full of cup mugs on look over here earlier too, and we didn't have lights there either. It's still important.
It still works. And you know what? You can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below, and it will be on the bottom of the screen very soon. So get your cup mugs or any of our beautiful cup merch, and we do ship domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and we do ship internationally. So there are no excuses. Well, I mean, maybe some. If your country is under fire, on fire, or underwater, then our thoughts, our prayers go out to you and yours. And we hope that everything works out for the good and everybody is safe. And here at the Cup, we are praying for you all. But once everything gets back to normal and everybody's safe and sound and happy again, celebrate with the Cup mug. Period.
Exactly.
There.
And hi everyone. As I was not here during the pay-per-view recaps, it is now time to hear the thing that I should have heard on Sunday.
What did you not hear, Brooke? What did you not hear?
I'm sorry, Queen Brooke. What? What was that?
You heard it. It just came out today. It happened.
I watched it. All hail Queen Brooke. Once again, your winner of this past week. But beside the point, all hail Queen Brooke. I am so excited to be back here. I missed the recap because my friend had to be taken home like a doofus. And beside the point, um, it's wrap up time, and if there's one thing I know how to do, it's wrap up wins and predictions. So, um, it's not like it was a blowout, Lana. Neither
Well,
one
I'm
of us
about to
did pretty
say,
good.
really,
Yeah,
one match.
yeah,
One match
one
determined the
match.
winner.
Yeah. Beside the
But
point, I will take the win on that one match, and I will take my win. It's only the second one I've ever got, so let's
yeah,
keep it. Let's keep moving. Maybe Crown Jewel is what I need to be looking forward to. I can't even joke about
nobody's
that.
looking forward to Crown Jewel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that
Don't
out loud.
apologize for stating the truth.
I didn't mean to say that out loud. I'm sorry.
No, you said the quiet part out loud, but
I really did.
honestly, you're right though, so it's okay.
Right.
But regardless, quiet part out loud. If you want to get our feelings on Crown Jewel when that happens, or a bunch of other stuff, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Maybe give us a like, hit the notification bell, all that fun stuff. And if you have any interest in the Eurovision Song Contest, reality TV in general, or drag related content, period, go check out the links to our other channels down below in the description. Thank
Absolutely. And our Patreon is also down in the description below. So if you want to get early access to things across all four channels and exclusive content across all four channels, the Patreon is where it's at. And our audio podcast links are down in the description below so you can listen to us on the go. Some things might have just came out today on our audio podcast channel. So you might want to go check all that out. Yeah, all of those
you.
things are happening. So we are going to jump right into our weekly wrap up, starting from SmackDown on last weekend, the SmackDown right before Bad Blood. If you want to hear our Bad Blood predictions and our recap, that's out right now. So go check it out on this in the playlist below in the on the podcast. You'll see it. Just go look under all the stuff and hear what
Hmm.
me and Topher had to say. I might give Brooke a chance to talk about a little of their thoughts about it if, they don't annoy me with the Queen Brooks things. I don't know.
Queen Brooke has made her appearance for the week. That is all that needs to happen. Um, I'm not going to go into full detail. All I'll say is this: I think you and Topher were way too nice to that show.
We kind of
What?
figured you would be, but
Yeah. Okay. I blame that referee for the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley's mess because that was a botch, and it has been documented and said by a variety of sources that it was the referee's fault. So blame him for that. Um, I just thought a lot of the card was kind of boring. I think Punk and McIntyre was fantastic and absolutely should have been the main event. And I get why it wasn't, but I think in terms of a storyline build, it was the best built storyline on the show. I think the match was the best match of the night.
mhm.
Um, main event was kind of boring, but I don't really blame them because I don't think there was much they could do to tell the story that they wanted to tell without it being a little draggy in certain places. I feel like it kind of had to drag every now and then to make that story work. I think Nia and Bailey were fantastic. I think that match was amazing. I think Finn and Damian had a really good match with a pretty poopy ending, all things considered. And the less I talk about Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, the better, even though I love both of them. Ugh. So yeah, on the whole, card was one of the weaker cards of the year. I don't think it was bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't my favorite.
I didn't mind it. I actually enjoyed it, so I stuck by it. I'll stick by what I said. And if you want to hear what I said,
Valid, valid.
you want to hear what I said, go check out the recap. What I said, because I'm not going to tell you now, because we got to jump right into this week. This I'll wrap up here. We're going to start with what was unveiled at the Bad Blood pay per view. We had the unveiling of the Crown Jewel Championship, which is going to be something that they're going to do and have champion versus champion on the men's and women's side competing at Crown Jewel to get the belt, the 2024 or 2025, no, 2024 Crown Champion of Crown Jewel. And like I said in the recap, and me and Toph agreed, this was the ugliest belt I've ever seen in my life. Like, I hate this belt. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good belt. Not a fan.
I'm gonna throw some shade real quick. So Wes was here watching Bad Blood with me at my apartment, and he when the belt gets revealed, he goes, "Oh, I love that belt. That belt is gorgeous." I look at him, I'm like, "Please tell me you're being sarcastic. That thing is ugly as hell." And he
Ugh.
goes, "No, I really like it." And I'm like, "Bud, there's a reason you are I don't value your fashion takes on this one, bud. Um, God, this belt is ugly.
Belt is ugly. God
And
awful.
like, okay, let me ask you a question. When you saw that belt in the ring under that velvet mat,
I thought it was the women's mid card title. I was ready for it. I was like, mid card, mid card, mid card. I was like, girl. And then he started talking about Crown Jewel, and I deflated. And I was like,
Mhm.
no.
What at first I thought when he was talking about Crown Jewel, it was gonna be like
Look,
at
they're
Crown
going to unveil it
Jewel.
at Crown Jewel. History
Yeah,
making event. Blah.
imagine you have, but okay, but imagine the optics of having your first women's mid card titles being crowned in Saudi Arabia. I
I think
just,
that I think that would be so good, honestly, because it's like to have your mid card event belt
Mhm.
crowned in a place where women aren't given the respect and the
Mhm.
that they are second classes to show these women are not, no, we're not second class, we're here, we're right here. I think that would be so historic, and I would have loved that to show those men in that audience and that
Mhm.
Arabian government, like, hey, value your women.
Absolutely.
But
Um,
they wouldn't do that.
but besides the point, so the whole big announcement was that we're basically just doing what Survivor Series was like 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and now they just get a championship belt with it.
yeah,
And like, did this reek of Greatest Royal Rumble belt to you, or did
yeah,
because that oh god,
yeah.
like this is them trying to make us care more about the Saudi shows than we already don't, and like it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
It's
I
not
still
gonna
don't
work.
care.
I still
I,
don't
I mean,
care.
I mean, because what you're doing is you're just going to give two people who already have championships belts
Mhm.
another belt. Who cares?
this really feels like Saudi Arabia, because this isn't the first time they've done something like this at a Saudi show. They did it with the Greatest Royal Rumble, and they did it with the what was it, the Tawake Trophy, or the one, the Gauntlet match that Shane McMahon, that the Undertaker won. Um, and like, maybe it's because the Saudi government wants the Saudi shows to feel more important. They're not important.
We don't
Okay,
care.
I hate to break it to you,
Sorry.
man that runs Saudi Arabia, whose name I forget, Crown Prince something.
Who
It,
cares?
it doesn't matter, because these shows are not. WWE doesn't care about these shows, right? In terms of like the matches they put on, I think a grand total of like 4 belts have changed hands in the Saudi shows over their entire run. Okay, most of them have been tag titles. Okay, never had a women's title change happen in Saudi Arabia, to my recollection. Um, Actually, wait, didn't Liv win the belt at Night of Champions from Becky? Was that okay? Whenever Liv won the world title, I think it might have been at Saudi, because I think she was in a full body suit. But other than that, like, there aren't that many title changes that happen at the Saudi Arabia shows, and I honestly think that this is yet another very transparent attempt to make us care about something we just don't care about.
Yeah. Honestly, they can throw 8 belts at a Saudi show and I still would not care. I would not care. I would
Mm-hmm.
just be like, because honestly, my brain is already at War Games. I'm looking forward to War
Mm-hmm.
Games. I could
War
care
games.
less about the
Mm-hmm.
Saudi show.
Well, I
And
mean,
so,
and also the bigger thing too is, I will at least give them credit, right?
mm-hmm.
Where I think credit is due. The idea of, okay, we're not doing this whole brand supremacy bull crap anymore at Survivor Series. The idea of, okay, but we still want to have our 2 top guys and 2 top girls fight each other on pay-per-view. That's great. And I think the
Sure.
idea of doing that at in Saudi Arabia,
Sure.
a show like Crown Jewel, is a good way to get eyeballs on it. We don't need another belt. Does
Because
not
what
need
is
to be.
that belt going to do? Nothing. After
It's
Crown Jewel, they just put it up into the museum until next year or the next Saudi show and say, okay, now you're the Crown Jewel champion of 2020. Like, and y'all have like 3 shows in Saudi every year. So who cares?
Yeah, like, and the really crappy part for me is that 2 of the people who are going to be competing for this match, one King and Queen of the Ring, right? Nia and Gunther both
Yep.
won insert of the ring tournaments this year, right?
Yep.
So theoretically, one of them is probably, at least statistically, going to win, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you're telling me that Gunther will be World Heavyweight Champion, King of the Ring, Crown Jewel Champion, all at the same time, it's too much. It's
Right.
too much. He is Gunther. Just let him be Gunther. He does not need a third title, a third accolade on top of, sorry, a fourth, because he's still the ring general, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's too much. It's too much.
It's first I want to be like, okay, Cody probably was going to win, but I think it'll be some shenanigans happening with all this foolishness going on. So maybe Cody doesn't win and Gunther wins.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say Nia wins. Like you said, they will have all those names attached to them now that
Mm-hmm.
we have to go by. It is so annoying and so ridiculous. I'm over it, but
Yeah.
whatever. The Crown Jewel Championship is happening. So what? Okay.
So do we want to go ahead and jump into SmackDown real quick?
I will give you my highlights of SmackDown today because I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like giving you the full show.
I felt that.
I mean, honestly, it was a good show. It was a decent
Mm-hmm.
show. We had a dumpster match with Chelsea Green and Meechin. Meechin wins. Great match, by the way. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. Meechin
Wait,
wins.
can I just mention that spot, the bump at the end,
Mm-hmm. With the table,
ridiculous, absolutely,
ridiculous.
and I'm like, the actual bump itself was cool until you realized Meechin had to hit her
Own body through that table.
perfectly,
Yep.
like perfectly. If she was off by like this much, back of Chelsea Green's head hits that dumpster, who would have paralyzed her?
Yeah.
Chelsea Green is fucking insane. Continue. Sorry, Lana.
Yeah. They both did really well in this spot. I thought they both had really great spots in the match. It was a good match. It was nice to see Chelsea doing things that we don't usually get to see her do on the main roster because they don't want her to do these great moves on the main roster.
Mhm.
But you know, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. We had a um, we had a match with Carmelo Hayes and AJ Styles. AJ Styles came back. AJ Styles is back. He came back only to get hurt right when he got back. So now he's hurt. And so
Storyline hurt. He
storyline
is
hurt.
not actually
Storyline hurt.
hurt.
He is not. His storyline hurt. Storyline hurt. Absolutely. But he AJ comes out. The fans love him. He's doing his thing. Carmelo comes out. He's like, great to have you back, but you know how Carmelo is, so he's giving him a hard time. He's.
Mhm.
And then AJ challenged to a match. He says, "Nah, I'm good." Then LA Knight comes out and was like, "You say yes, you fight AJ, you beat AJ, you could have a chance out, give you a chance at this belt, blah blah blah."
Mhm.
So they fight. Match is happening. AJ gets hurt, and then he can't finish the match. But Carmelo wins the match because AJ can't finish, only to get LA Knight to come in and stun him and all the RKO,
Mhm.
whatever, stun him, whatever he does, and
Mhm.
he took him out. But Carmelo still gets a shot at LA Knight at some point for the United States Championship match.
Mhm.
We get a call out from Bayley to Nia Jax with Tiffany and a lot of stuff. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Up into Bad Blood. The main event of the night came with the ladder match, a tag team three-way match with DIY, the Street Profits, and the Bloodline. Now, I actually enjoyed this match. I did
Mhm.
enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would, because DIY and the Street Profits both were like the whole purpose of this match is to get rid of the Bloodline at this point. So they were going after them hard.
As
We
they
saw,
should.
as they should. Um, because both have been messed up by the bloodline at some point, and DIY lost their belts to them, and the Street Profits got their chance to the NXT tag team belts interrupted by the bloodline, which is
Mhm.
like crazy. Anyway, but we see some really good spots. Montez jumping off the top of the it was off a ladder that was
Mhm.
off on the side and onto everybody on the. It was Montez.
Great
You know
spot.
he gonna
Great
fly.
spot. Yeah.
Great spot. He's going to fly regardless. Every time we see
Mhm.
him, we saw BFAB grabbing a chair from Tomatunga, so he couldn't hit somebody with the chair, and then so they came back and got another chair and hit him with it. It was just a lot going on. DIY had a moment where it was nobody in the ring. They would go get the belts. They were on their way. Bloodline comes in, pushes them off. Montez jumps off the side, off the ring, onto the ladder to climb up, only to get pushed down. It was just great spots
Mhm.
all around, I will say, from this match. I enjoyed the match, but ultimately, the Bloodline won this match, grabbed the belts. There we have it. Tomatonga and Tongaloa are still the tag team champions. Um, and overall, I thought SmackDown was good. It was a good show. A very good show
Mhm.
going into Bad Blood, I will say.
I I agree for the most part. I just really wish that anybody but the Bloodline won that tag title match.
We can't. I mean, they're gonna have
I
it for a while.
know.
Story's
I
gonna. They're gonna
know.
have it. So
I just because this is the first time I've seen them in a match and been entertained, and I feel like if you just let them keep wrestling car crash matches instead of making them try to work this like stiff style that does not suit either of them, then maybe it would be better. I don't know. I still do not care for either of the Tongas, so we'll see if that changes in the near future. But I don't know. One thing that you forgot to mention that happened on SmackDown that I had my eyeballs completely glued to a nice little vignette
uh,
rolling through a city. One could call it the Motor City, specifically
mm-hmm,
the Motor City Machine Guns coming to
mm-hmm,
SmackDown. Um, Now we had talked about this before because we've mentioned pretty much the entire timeline of the Motor City Machine Guns coming to WWE from when the rumors started all the way up till now when they've already signed the contract, they're coming. However, us and everybody were under the impression they were going to NXT first.
Mm-hmm.
Not the case, apparently. Apparently, they're going straight to SmackDown. I don't get. Yay, great. They're great. They deserve. They don't need to go to NXT. They're fantastic. Um, and I think part of the reason they might be going to SmackDown instead of going to NXT is the other thing that happened over the week with the whole Phoenix AEW mess that occurred. So, in case you all hadn't heard, uh, we had pretty much confirmed that Phoenix and Ray Phoenix and Pinta El Ziermiedo from AEW had signed with WWE. We're going to be debuting on SmackDown in the very near future. At least that was the plan. And then Tony Khan decided to do the Vince McMahon tactic of extending a wrestler's contract due to injuries. He did it to Mustafa Ali, and I guess this is payback for that karma. Now, only Phoenix's contract is extended, so theoretically, Penta could show up any day now. And Penta is like one of those guys that if he was a solo wrestler, it would still work. Like, it's not like he is just a tag team guy. But I feel like they're probably going to wait, and that bums me out. I think Penta could be really cool in NXT for a bit. Just like tear it up down there for like a year and then come up to the main roster whenever Phoenix is done. But it's going to be a minute before we get the Lucha Bros in WWE, and that is a major bummer. um, so yeah, speaking of major bummers, let's talk about 2 hours of Monday Night Raw.
I will say this, and I'm not gonna say a lot about Raw because I'm gonna let you do your thing. It felt so rushed. It felt so rushed, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Why does it feel more rushed than SmackDown?" And we're used to seeing SmackDown on a 2 hour program,
Mm-hmm.
and we had Raw for 2 hours at one point. That has not always been 3 hours, but that feels so long ago. Number one,
Because it
and
has been.
it feels so long ago, but now it's just like it just felt like boom, 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 and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, slow down.
Well, and I think the big reason that it doesn't feel as bad on SmackDown is because there's less going on SmackDown, right?
True.
And that's not saying, oh, Raw's got all these crazy things going on. No, they had an extra hour in which they could tell more stories at the same
Right.
time. They didn't need to focus on, you
Mm-hmm.
know, 2 or 3 things like SmackDown has to, right? So you have this week alone, right? Uh, Let me see if I can get everything. Seth Rollins and CM Punk, the New Day mess, Jay Uso and Braun Breaker apparently not being finished yet.
Not done. Okay.
Apparently. Sami Zayn and Gunther, Sheamus and Pete Dunne, several feuds in the women's division loaded up into one tag match.
Right.
Um, okay,
We
I'm
will
a,
talk about that,
we'll
baby.
talk about
Ooh.
that.
Ooh.
But let's give the highlights. So, start up with CM Punk after his win at Bad Blood, basically saying he's going to go on break for a little bit. In my mind, this is their way of getting Punk off TV so he doesn't have to work Saudi. Um, he has been very critical of the company's relationship with Saudi in the past. I doubt that has changed now that he's back in the company. Don't expect to see him at Crown Jewel.
No.
Um, but this like slight tease of a Seth Rollins heel turn, first time I have been invested in Seth Rollins in like 2 years. So by all means, please turn this man heel. I miss the Monday Night Messiah. Yes, please. Um, then we get Seth Rollins calling out Bronson Reed. Expected that match at Crown Jewel.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I want Bronson Reed to win. I know that's a hot take, but I want Bronson Reed to win so bad. Okay, moving on.
I kind of agree with you. I'm not even
Like,
gonna lie.
have Bronson Reed win clean and then Seth go off the deep end? Yes, please. I'm set. Um, so then we go into the first match of the night: Xavier Woods versus Jey Uso for the Intercontinental Championship. You know, this is such a dumb thing to say, but I totally forgot about the New Day Usos feud when this match got announced. Like, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I was like, wait, yeah, no. These two have been feuding for a decade and a half. Like,
Years.
yeah, it's been so long. Um, Jay wins. Duh. Like, obviously, he was going to retain here. I wanted Xavier to win because I love Xavier. I want Xavier
Love
Woods
him.
to win. I want Xavier Woods to win every match he is in. I get it. um, but Okay, we also got to talk about the Braun Breaker mess too, but let's talk about the first part. Xavier Woods doesn't shake hands with Jey Uso after the match.
No.
Um, Kofi's like trying to talk him back into like going in, and then Braun Breaker, after seemingly chilling out after their last mess, um, spears Jey Uso. So this is apparently still going on, okay? And then Kofi goes to try to help. Xavier does not, right? Braun spears Kofi. Then he spears Xavier, and then he spears Jay again. Why? Match is good. Don't get me wrong. This was pointless.
It was so ridiculous.
Match of the night, in my opinion. I know this is not going to be a popular take, but it's my take. The good old-fashioned Donnybrook between Sheamus and Pete Dunne. It was a brawl.
It was a banger.
It was a banger. Love it. The wrong person won this match, but it was a great match.
Now that's the hot take. I do think it was the ring of the night. But
we need to boost Pete Dunne up the card. There are no credible heels on Raw but Gunther.
I agree, though.
But I'm not mad at Sheamus winning. Sheamus needs a win, honestly. It's been a minute since he's got a big win. Also, the bro kick with the handcuffs on was really cool. Loved the visual.
Love it.
Then, okay, Lana, do you still have the Brooke rant icon ready to go? Because we might need it. A Brooke rant, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about Natalya, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, Zelina Vega, and Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, aka Pure Fusion Collective, and Aladon and Alba Fire.
Hold on. You keep talking. I'm adjusting something.
You know, when they announced that Raw was going to be going to 2 hours until it moved to Netflix and it was going to go back to 3, people were like, oh, well, I guess the women aren't getting any TV time. Right? And I thought that was a joke. And we all joked about it, but we were like, oh, no, the company's turned a corner. You know, maybe they're not getting as much as the guys, but at least they're getting like some storylines and some feuds going on and, you know, all that stuff. We got a 10-woman tag match that shoved 10 incredibly talented women into one match that completely reduced any individuality out of half of them, right? Took away some of the most important story beats of these feuds, right? We shove Natalya, Zelina Vega, and Aladon and Alba Fire in this match for no reason. This could have been a 6-woman tag with the after party in Lyra Valkyria versus Pure Fusion Collective. That would have made perfect sense. Okay, we did not need to make it a 10-woman tag match. This felt, 1, performative. 2, it felt weakly performative, which is even worse. And 3, and perhaps most disgraceful of all, it felt like 2009 WWE. Unacceptable, do better.
Let me jump in on this rant because, baby, I was so mad when I saw this. I was like, so this is what we're doing? Because we take an hour away from the show. We shove all these people into one match and say, here, have at it. What? Why? What's the purpose of that? Like, these women are talented. What? We can't just say, let's cut off a match, one of these men's matches, and put another woman's match. We can't have a 6-woman tag, like you said, because that makes sense. And then if we wanted to have Natalya fight somebody else, or Zelina fight somebody else, or Natalya and Zelina fight somebody, you have other women in this company who can wrestle and who can do a good match. Like, I just felt like this was, like you said, very, very performative, and like, we just go we got 10 women out there.
It's almost like you knew this was going to be a 2-hour edition of Monday Night Raw, and that you knew you had 3 matches that you wanted to put on this card because you didn't want to have 6 matches of Bad Blood, when you absolutely could have put Jey Uso and Xavier Woods on that card at Bad Blood.
Sure could have.
It would not have detracted from anything. Would have actually had a black man compete in a one-on-one singles match on pay-per-view.
But Triple H don't see color.
over a year, I want to
Triple H
point
don't see
out.
color though, remember?
I don't want to even talk about that. It pissed me the fuck off. I don't. No, I'm not talking about that today. Fuck him for that. But we're having. We haven't had a black man in a one-on-one match on pay-per-view in over a year. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. The fact that they said, "Oh, this hasn't really been built long enough to be a proper feud at a pay." I don't give a fuck. Put
It's a whole lot of stuff that ain't been built long enough to be a feud that made it to pay-per-view.
Literally, I'm just saying, if you put Xavier Woods and Jey Uso on the Bad Blood card, you could have made it a 10-minute match. Didn't have to be anything long and crazy, but it would have given you more time to allow these women to actually work a match, because this was barely even a match. It was basically a spot fest. No shade. Nothing against the workers. They did the best they could
No,
with the
they
time
did the
they were
best they
given,
could.
which was very minimal, I might add. But two, to make it even worse, you're shoving all of these women together and giving them like a 5-minute plot where they don't have any time to do anything. This is why Give Divas a Chance started to begin with, right? This is why the women's revolution started. That was 9 years ago. 9 years ago. We had Paige and AJ Lee versus the Bella Twins, Paige and Emma versus the Bella Twins in a 1.5-minute match on Raw. That is what started this entire trend. Okay? 9 years ago. And we are still doing the same things that caused that trend to happen in the first place. Screw you, Triple H. You can do better than this. These women deserve better than this. The men deserve better than this, because they're then getting forced into spots that they don't deserve, that they don't need to be in either. So, no, you don't need to only have 5 matches on your pay-per-views. You could have thrown another one on there so you had more time. Or hell, maybe, just maybe, you don't book all of these matches on the first Raw where you're going to have 2 hours. You could have put Sami Zayn and Gunther on Raw last week and had plenty of time for the rest of the show. This was a mistake, a bad one.
I agree with everything you said. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But continue with Raw.
Sorry. Not much left to
I'd rather
continue
move
with.
on. I'd rather
I
move
will.
on.
Yeah, I will point out. Live here gets the win. Cool. So Sami Zayn versus Gunther. It was great. It's Sami Zayn and Gunther. It really can't not be great. Sami Zayn kicked out of the powerbomb at 1. That was nice. Weird, but it was nice. Something that someone pointed out on Twitter. Sami hit Gunther with a Helova kick, and then he was going for a second one, and Gunther just lariated the crap out of him. But it was like he was falling forward with his last like bit of energy, and he great spot. Loved that. Gunther retains via Sami Zayn passing out in the sleeper hold. Gunther's going to Crown Jewel. Did we expect anything less? So, a good match, all things considered. Raw itself, big letdown this week. Across the board, matches were good, outcomes were bad. Time management was a major issue. Things felt rushed. Not my favorite week of Raw. Do better, Triple H. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So what do we have next, Brooke?
Well, it's been a minute, but sometimes we got a few recurring segments on this show that are just too fun to leave away. So it's time for another rousing edition of Velveeta's Being Stupid on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yay! Lana, do you have the picture in front of you, or would you like me to read it?
I would like you to read it, please, and thank you.
To direct quote Val Venus from Twitter, and I quote, "Fact, all bold, all caps. My chops are soul rattling chops compared to the bitch slaps from Gunther." That is a direct quote from Val Venus on Twitter. Val Venus, dumb. Lana, go ahead.
What is this man even talking about? What is this man even talking about? Lord. He want to be so relevant so bad. It's ridiculous. It's so sad and pathetic.
So real.
It is so sad. Like, what are you talking about? You got the nerve to talk about Gunther, who is the world heavyweight champion right now, who's probably hit way harder than you ever did, even in your prime. And you go talk about his slaps. Okay.
Bitch slaps. Bitch slaps.
Bitch slaps. Okay, Val. I think I say it every time we do this bit. Have several seats. Go touch some grass. Go get a life.
Several seats.
Like several seats. Like, oh, you are pathetic, and you really need to get your phone taken away.
I just, how is a man whose most famous move that he did was a top rope splash, right? That was his finish, was a diving splash from the top rope. I cannot name a single other move in this man's kit off the top of my head, saying that he has better chops than the man who has literally defined chops for a generation of pro wrestling fans. Like, and I'm not saying he is the chop guy. Ric Flair is
Ric
and
Flair's the
always will
chop guy.
be the chop
Absolutely.
guy. But are we gonna say that that Gunther isn't at least closing in on chop guy status? Of like, he's not Ric Flair, but he could be to a generation of fans. He
Yeah.
is the chop guy of the present day. He hits harder than any man I have ever seen in my life. Val, I don't know if you've ever left those big red welts on a guy's chest from one chop. I've seen Gunther do that. So, I don't even care if you do hit harder than him. This isn't something you should be posting on Twitter, you dumb dumb.
I
Okay?
just
Can you not like let your body of work speak for itself, or lack thereof, I suppose? Like, can you not just like let your dead career speak for itself compared to the world champ?
I need to, next time we do this, I am going to have some clown music to play behind this
Oh, I
this
love
I'm
it.
going to definitely have to get some clown music like as we talk about this man, because
Do it as
I'm
like the
gonna
intro.
it just works for me. But I think that's it, Brooke. I think we go end on the
Yeah.
note of just this man and his
He's so
stupidity.
such an idiot.
Such an idiot. I mean, why not? Everybody needs to leave with a laugh, and everybody can laugh at this man as we go. We want to say thank you for joining us, and as we give us our wrap up of everything that happened in this week, and we'll be back next week to talk more wrestling, more things, more news, probably more stupid about Venus, because he probably will say more stupid things on Twitter.
If he doesn't, I'll just go through his back catalog. There's a lot.
I'm sure you'll find something. I'm sure we'll find something. But thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button on your way out, and the follow and the notification bell so you won't miss a single video. We are part of a network, so we have 3 other channels that you can go and subscribe to as well as our audio podcast links. You want to click those. Those are in the description below, as well as our Patreon to get exclusive content and early access across all 4 channels. And our socials are at the Cup Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can follow me and Brooke on our Twitters as well as down there. On my Instagram is right there too, right there. Mm-hmm. And if you keep scrolling, you get your cup mugs. Period.
And other cup merch.
And other cup merch. So check all of that out. And we're gonna get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.